Does it break your heart when your book cover is creased? Do you hate it when the stuff in your back gets in the pages of your book and rips them? Are you so crazy that you don't even open your book too wide so it stays brand new? Me too. In today's video, we're making a book pouch that will keep your books and my book safe from the bad world. The great thing is we're making the whole project from leftover and scrap yarn. Grab your hook and all the yarn you find around the house, and let's get started. I'm getting this book as an example. We're going to start with this rectangle. So this is going to be the bottom of the bag. And then we're going to build around it. We're going to crochet around it. This is going to be about 9 inches and 1.5 inches. I'm going to start with a bigger piece of yarn. We're going to make a slip knot. Done. And then we're going to chain until we get to the desired length. It's 40 chains so far. I chose this book because it's large enough that any other standard size book would also fit in the bag. This seems to be a good fit. Maybe 2 more chains. Let's do 41, 42. Perfect. And then for this project, I'm going to be using half double crochet. So we did 42, and then we're going to crochet 2 more. These are going to be turning chains. 1, 2, and then I'm going to work in the second chain to start. Now I'm going to do my half double crochet. Wrap it around once. I'm going to work in the second chain. Put my yarn through. Wrap it around the hook. Pull it through. 3 loops on your hook. Wrap it around. Pull all of them at the same time. And that's half double crochet. Once you finish your first row, you should have 42 stitches in total. At the end of my row, I'm going to chain 2, turn my work, wrap it around, and then I'm going to keep working half double crochet. After this, the color change is totally random. So for example, I want to change the color right about here. I am going to start my next stitch to change color. So this is how it goes. I'm going to wrap my yarn around. I'm going to put my hook through the stitch. I'm going to wrap my yarn around. I'm going to pull it through. And then I'm going to introduce my new color before I wrap it around and pull through again. So before you finish this stitch, you're adding the new color. So it blends in perfectly. I'm going to take this yarn. I'm going to create a slip knot in my hand. There we go. And then I'm going to put it on my hook, tighten it. And once this is on my hook as well, I'm going to pull this through to finish my stitch. I'm going to pull this orange one to tighten it. And then now I'm going to keep working with this blue yarn here. And I'm going to keep doing my regular half double crochet. Wrap it around, working in the next stitch. Let's see after a few stitches how it looks. Also, while you're doing this, in the back, you can hold these tails of yarns to tuck them in your stitch so they're hidden, or you can do that in the end with a needle. I am going to do it at the end with a needle. As you can see, the color change is perfect. It perfectly blends in. For this tail, for the orange one, we can cut it now. Keep working with this yarn for a bit. So now I am done with my rectangle. I'm going to start working on the sides to build it up. To do that, after you finish on the corner of your rectangle, you're going to chain 2 and then keep working half double crochet. But as you can see, the stitches are not clear here, so you're just going to work into these holes that you see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you finish the side and come to this corner, you're going to turn your work and keep working over here. And this is going to be the chain side that we started with. So you're going to work into these little holes here that you see. And it's going to be 42 stitches. I didn't put any turning chains on this corner because when I put it, it created a big hole. That's why I just kept going on this side. Keep working around the corner. And then once you finish this side, you're going to start working on the other side. I'm going to use my turning chain over here too because there's a little bit of a gap. 1, 2, and then keep working. Now I finished all the sides. I worked around all the sides of the rectangle. All I have to do now is just to keep building like we just did. We're just going to keep working around this rectangle. Now we came to the corner, the turning chains over here. So you see this little hole over here? It's going to create a little gap in between. I recommend working in there. Just one over there. And then keep working in the stitches you see. So for the turning chains, you remember we did 2 turning chains on this corner. We're just working 1 stitch into the gap that it created. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side as well. And then just keep working it up. As you can see, it starts building up. So we're creating the edges. So it's working up quite a bit. Changed colors a few times. I am going to continue building it up. Now my pouch came to a point where it covers the book. Once it comfortably covers your book, you can also stop. We're going to create the flap over here. Now I finished it on the corner, but I didn't tie it off because I'm just going to keep working to build the flap on top of it. So it's just going to be like another rectangle, but only on one side. Then we're going to continue with building the flap, the cover on top of it. Chain 2. And then we're going to turn our work. So it's like that. We're going to turn it. So all this time we never turned the work, we just built around it. This time to build that rectangle on top, we need to turn the work. And then we will continue with half double crochet as we did for the rest of the project. You're going to do it until you come to the other corner. If you can't tell which corner you should work in, just take your book, put it inside your pouch to see which corner you should work until. So you see this starts over here and then it's going to end about somewhere here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Take the book out. We're going to mark that stitch. So that's going to be the last stitch we work into. From there, we're gonna turn the work again. I'm going to work until I come to the point that I marked. And here we are. I worked the last stitch here into the marked stitch. Now I can take this off and I'm going to chain 2 again to turn the work and turn the work. And I'm going to keep working back and forth until I build a flap that's going to cover about quarter of the front. So when you build a flap on top of here, it should cover about a quarter of the book, and then we're going to build the strap. So you're going to wrap it around. And of course, as we did with the rest of the work, for the flap you keep changing colors too whenever you want. I finished the flap. Here's what it looks like. Now to hold it together, we're going to create a little chain that goes around the pouch so we can wrap it around and this will stay closed. I counted, I have 41 stitches over here on this edge. The middle is going to be the 21st stitch. I'm going to start making chains from that middle part. So I marked the middle stitch on the flap. I'm putting my hook through this stitch that I marked. And I take my yarn, pull it through, and I'm going to pull the tail through here. So it looks like this. To secure it, I'm going to tie this twice. For the tail, it's okay, you can leave it like that. We're going to tuck it in here and hide it anyway. So now I'm putting the hook through this stitch again. We're not working with the tail anymore, forget about the tail. Now I'm pulling through my yarn, and then I'm going to start making chains here. I'm going to keep making chains until I have enough to wrap around the pouch when there's a book in it. I want this strap, this chain, to wrap around the pouch twice. Now I arrived at the end of my chain. This is what it looks like. I'm not going to go slip stitch backwards. I'm just going to leave it as a chain. What I'm going to do over here at the end is creating a little button that looks a bit like a flower. You're going to go to this next chain from your hook. And then you're going to single crochet 6 times into that same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to go to the first stitch I made here, and I'm going to slip stitch into it to complete this circle. Making this also gives you a chance to hide the tail and weave in the ends easily after you finish your work at this end. So it's a good idea to make something like this. After I do the slip stitch, I'm going to tie a knot here, cut the tail. Now you have your little button. So cute. And then we're gonna get our needle to weave in the ends. You know how it's sticking out like this, looking a little weird? To get rid of that, first I'm going to put my needle through the first chain under the flower. I'm just going to call this a flower. Yes, it looks better now. And then I'm going to go behind this flower and I'm going to start weaving it in. And at the end over here, I'm going to tie a knot to secure it and put this through a few chains again. And here's what it looks like at the end. I'm gonna go back here and I'm going to also weave this in. Right, and it is done. It looks like that. And then when you wrap it around, it looks like this. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope it inspired you to make your own scrap yarn project as well. If you find the video useful, please give it a like, and I will see you on the next one. Now I gotta go read. Bye!